Hey guys, Eric at SoCal Cigars here. I wanted to do a video on actually a pretty important topic, but I think it's something we really take for granted. It's our lighters. We spend a lot of money on lighters, or we have these massive collections of lighters, and we're relying on them to light our cigars, and we're expecting them never to fail. They do fail, and there's only usually a couple reasons why they fail. One is going to be a faulty igniter, which is really not much you can do about that. You can either try to repair it yourself, which I've actually had no luck at doing, or you can send it back to the manufacturer and they'll repair it for you. The second could be that you're using a very poor quality fuel and that the fuel line's actually been clogged. That doesn't happen often either because most fuels are pretty good nowadays. More than likely what's causing a lighter to fail to light is that it hasn't been refilled properly over a period of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs, we're going to cover that topic so that you can understand how to properly fill your lighter so that these things are reliable and always ready to go when you're out there enjoying your cigars with your buddies. So let's go upstairs and do that now. Okay, let's get started and take a look at what we have here. Let's start with the basics, matches. Yep, you can use matches to light your cigar. It's not a problem. I do have a few issues, though, that I always think about when I think about using matches. One is the sulfur that burns when you are lighting a match. You definitely always want to be cognizant to not get that flavor into your cigar or pipe. So when you are going to use a match, definitely strike the match, let that initial bright burn go, and wait a second till you're actually just burning the wood rather than the sulfur at the end, so that you don't get that flavor through your cigar. So that's just kind of a tip if you are going to use matches. I would definitely just keep an eye on that. Other than that, though, I I don't really like matches because I don't want to carry them. I don't want to carry several packs because even like look at this pack. This is not going to get me very far throughout the day. I mean, if I had to light 2 or 3 or 4 cigars and then touch them up with another match and then, maybe one went out and I got to relight it. I mean, I'm going to go through this pack of matches very quickly. So I'm going to have to carry several packs, and I really don't want to do that. And also, even the other day I was out smoking a cigar and it started raining, and I wasn't worried about it because all I had was my torch lighters. I mean, I can pretty much get those wet, and it really makes no difference. With matches, I would have been a little more concerned that they were going to get ruined. So anyway, that's kind of the deal on matches. All the rest of these are torch lighters except for this one, and I added this one because I thought it was kind of cool. This was a 99-cent store find. As you can see, it is a regular flame lighter. Okay, it's got a kind of a cool bevel on the side, so this would be good for cigars or pipes. But it was refillable, and that's why I got it. I figured for a thin, kind of cool lighter that's actually refillable, that just looks like a disposable, that's got a natural flame, I couldn't pass it up for $1. So if you are out there and you see a lighter like this that's, something you maybe wouldn't have bought, but if you actually notice that you can refill it, maybe it's not such a bad deal after all to grab a couple. It's good just as a backup. So anyway, the main thing we're talking about obviously is torch lighters, because we're all pretty much using torch lighters at this point. Especially in the cigar world, obviously not so much in the pipe world. You would be burning the edges of your pipe rim badly, but for cigars, definitely the way to go is a torch. And really, all the differences are aesthetics. Do you like it? Is it got more than one function? How many like burners and flames does it produce? Like, for example, this one I picked up on a trip we were on. It was only like $8 at a gas station. I like the shape of it because it was kind of like a cigar shape, and I thought maybe it'd fit in one of my travel boxes. I kind of like that this is a smoky, translucent, but you can actually see the level of fuel in it. But for this big of a lighter, it's just a single flame. So it's just kind of, it's a lot of lighter for a single flame, but, for the other attributes, I liked it and was willing to pick it up for like $7 or $8. Another one like this one, this is a triple. I love the looks of this lighter. I was, I saw it online one time and I'm like, oh, I got to have that. And God, I think it was only like $12 or $13. And it's almost out of fuel. But this is a nice triple in that standard configuration of the little pyramid. But the good thing about this one is it also has a fold-out cigar punch. So again, this is a lighter that serves more than one purpose. So that's kind of cool about that one. Things like this one, this is just a single. but I think I got this free with another order. And it's even got a window in it, and obviously all refillable. So, I mean, all these lighters really do the same thing. I guess it's just a matter of what's your personal preference. For me, it's this one right now. In fact, I'll see if I get this closer. This is a Vector lighter, which I love their lighters. They're not that expensive. I like that you can see through the body, so I can see the fuel level. But the big thing for me was I love this triple inline rather than the little pyramid shape. I like this inline because it goes across my entire cigar. So as I'm lighting my cigar and I'm rotating it, this really does a great job at lighting. So this by far has been my favorite kind of all the time carry lighter. So really the bottom line is, I guess, what can cause you issues with a lighter? And it's usually going to be two things. You're going to run out of fuel, which is an easy remedy. You fill it back up. Another issue, though, that we're going to talk about is that you can build up too much pressure in your lighter, and it becomes difficult to fill, and you'll think you have a lighter that no longer works when it actually just needs to be bled. So that's kind of what we're really going to be talking about, mostly on this video. The other issue, though, is sometimes what's in here. And in here, when you depress that, what that's causing is a little spark through a wire to go up and ignite your fuel. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Let me see if I can open this and you can hear it. When I have to press, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but there's fuel coming out, right? But look, for the life of me, I cannot get this to start. So I've done, I've cleaned the little electrode end, I've bent it down, but I've noticed it's not working anymore. So this is a situation where it's nothing to do with purging or the fuel issue. It's not a fuel delivery issue because I can hear the fuel coming out fine. It's something in this electronic ignition. So that is something that fails on these lighters sometimes. Again, you're not spending $180 on a lighter like this. These are $6, $7, $12, whatever. So you're kind of getting what you get. So they do fail, and sometimes you just got to kind of write them off. This one I might just try to see if I can fix it for the fun of it. But for the most part, this would be one I would just have to kind of toss, because once that electrode starts failing on you, unless you can figure out how to fix it or replace it, it's just, I don't know. And then is it really worth the effort, given that these are such cheap lighters? So that's kind of a personal call to see if it's something you want to screw with and tinker with, because maybe it's just fun to do for the heck of it. But the main issue here, and let me move this stuff aside so we don't have focusing issues, because my camera wants to try to focus on weird stuff all the time. So let's actually just focus on these two items. This lighter, if you see the fuel, there's still fuel in the bottom. So you'd say, well, this lighter is pretty much empty. Well, not really. You got to think about it differently. This lighter is completely full because it's full of fuel and then it's full of air. So this lighter is not empty. And here's the issue. If you spend years and years and years filling and filling and filling and filling these lighters, and you're never purging them out, the pressure could become so great in here that you get it to the point where it will no longer accept any more fuel. So what I'm going to go over is the ability to purge your lighter. Okay. And so what I found, instead of trying to use a little screwdriver or whatever, you can get these little tools. And this was, I think, it was only a few bucks. Sorry, I'm having such a hard time with it focusing. On the inside, if you pull it apart, it's a punch. And this side's a screwdriver, which is awesome. Okay, so you can see that's a screwdriver. But on this side's a little bleeder. And this is for pushing down that filler nozzle so you can purge your lighter. So let's do that. So even though I still have some fuel in here, if I want to fill this up, I'm going to always purge my lighter every time. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down here, and I'm going to depress this and listen to the air coming out. See, notice no fuel's coming out, right? There's no fuel coming out at all. It's only air. And I'll do it until I can tell that there's not much air left. Okay, so that's it. It doesn't look any different than it did a minute ago, except the difference is I've now released all the pressure from that extra air that's in there, right? So when I take my fuel and I'm going to tip it up and I'm going to put it on the valve to fill it up. Before I do that, that's another thing I want to talk about, is that a lot of times when you have a lighter that you can't see through the tank, and this is why I love these, you really have no idea how much fuel is going in and when it's full. And I've seen people that they'll say to hold it on there for like 30 seconds. I'm telling you, when you bleed this out and there's no air pressure in there and there's all that room, these things fill up really quick within seconds. So I would be shocked if you have to depress this on there for more than 5 seconds. So let's just watch that happen. And you can see how fast it really actually fills up. 2, 3. Okay, I had that on there for 7 seconds. And it's pretty much full. I mean, you're never going to get it all the way full because there always has to be some pressure in there. That's what's actually pushing the fuel back out when you try to light the lighter. But it's pretty much, for the most part, as full as you're really ever probably going to get. Okay, and the other thing about this too is don't light your lighter right after you fill it with fuel. Let it sit for 10 minutes because some of the fuel that you just put in is still in a gas form, and it takes a minute for it to settle down. If you look at some lighters when you actually buy them, it gives you very detailed instructions on how to fill these lighters up, even to the point of where it can avoid a warranty if you don't do it right. And one thing they actually talk about too is using this, like a screwdriver like this one, to actually all the way open up the flame adjustment level so that it opens that thing up all the way and lets the most amount of fuel go in at once. I've found for just filling up my lighters on a regular basis, just bleeding it out and then adding more fuel has been fine. I don't really go through the process of actually adjusting the flame level. But again, here's another lighter. You can see this has got half full. So technically I don't really need to add anything to it. But if I did want to take this on a trip and I'm just wanted to verify it's all the way full, I can I'll bleed it out a little bit. You can see that you can hear it now slowing down. Now what I've done is I've allowed more fuel to be able to go right back in there. Look at that. And that was only 3 or 4 seconds. And now I'm good to go. But the key was bleeding it out first. Okay. So that's the big thing I want to get across today, is that you need to bleed it out. Get this tool. That it's a few bucks. It's well worth it. Another thing is obviously make sure you're buying really good fuel. You want to make sure that this stuff is the premium butane, or sometimes you'll see it's called triple filtered, reputable brand. Buy the bigger bottles. You're saving yourself some money because you're getting more bang for your buck. Anyway, so this is the setup you need to have, in my opinion. You need to have your good fuel, have your bleeder tool, have your lighters, preferably, in my opinion, get some with a clear tank. If you're going to go somewhere, I don't have any idea how much is in this. I know it's low. I can hear it's low. So actually, we'll do this one too. I mean, we've got a lighter here that we know is low. We can hear barely anything's coming out. Look, all I had to do was hit that a couple seconds and it stopped hissing. It's done. But see, I know from experience by having one of these clear ones, I really only need to hold this maybe 7 seconds. Okay, 7, 8 seconds. I guarantee this is full now. But again, I'm not going to light this lighter for 10 minutes because I don't want to run the risk of causing my lighter any issues. And they say that if you don't let them sit, you can actually run into some issues with the lighter. I'm not actually sure why on that, but I just figured if it's, if there's still some that's in a gas form and it needs to settle back into being a liquid form, then just let it do that. It's only 10 minutes. It's not the big deal. But I think people just have this habit of the second that you fill a lighter, you turn around and you want to test it to make sure it's still working, and it's still working. But arguably, it's apparently going to work even better if you let it sit for a few minutes. So, all right, I figured while we were here, we might as well cover another style of lighter that we're all familiar with, is a Zippo style lighter. One like this. So, you're still going to want to get a good quality fuel, like a premium blend, triple filtered, whatever, low odor, clean burning, that type of thing. So don't scrimp on the fluid. Don't buy the cheapy stuff because that can be what causes issue with your lighters clogging up and not working. But in case people aren't familiar with these lighters, here's how you would fill this one up. You actually just open it up, okay, and you just grab this part and pull it out. Okay, pretty simple. So here on the bottom, just so you know, it looks like that's like a filler hole, but it's actually not. If you notice, it says lift to fill. So we're not shoving that fluid in this hole. We're actually going to be lifting this cotton up. But I just wanted to also tell you, this is not some kind of adjustment for the flame or anything. This is actually a screw that holds the spring and flint in the lighter so that when you rotate the wheel, it creates a spark to light the lighter. Okay? So here's how this actually works. You actually lift this cotton up. What there is this thicker pad of cotton. And as you can see underneath there is a kind of like a fluffier cotton. And the wick is actually weaving through that fluffier type cotton. Okay? See if we can get this thing to stay focused. And then what we're going to do is just open our fuel. These kind of are a pain to open, but it's like a safety child thing. So that's okay. And what we're going to do is actually just start filling this up slowly. You don't want to overfill these, but you'll see where it actually starts to get kind of saturated towards the top, and that'll be where you want to stop. So I could probably put a little more in there, but this is fine because I don't use this lighter much. And so then all you do is you literally just tamp this little thick cotton back down, and then you take your lighter base again, frame, and then you just slide that back in. Okay, that's now a filled standard lighter fluid Zippo style lighter, and now it should work. There you go. Okay, so are there other options? I'm glad you asked. I got this cool lighter from my mom, actually. My mom gave me this as a gift, and I thought it was awesome. But what I found, and what I do find with these lighters, is that as they sit, this fluid evaporates. And so you'll think you think it should be full because you didn't fill it too long ago. And you're thinking, I didn't use very much of the fluid, but it doesn't work. And it seems as if what happens is that because none of this is really a tightly sealed setup, it literally just evaporates out. So over time, you'll go to light this thing and you're surprised it's not working. And then you're kind of in a pinch if you didn't check ahead of time or refill it. There is an option. So if you want to keep your cool Zippo lighter and you want to use it all the time, you can buy an insert. And all you really do is like you did before, you just pop this out and pop the insert in. In fact, I'll show you what I got. It's this one because I did a lot of comparisons. And this seemed to be one of the best ones out there. It was only like 13, 14 bucks. It's the Z Plus 2.0 Extreme. And all it is simply a insert for your Zippo lighter. And I know other brands make them. Zippo makes them. But again, this is pretty awesome. It turns any Zippo style lighter into a torch lighter. So I just wanted to show you that that's a possibility. And then, you would just pull this out and just do your normal refilling like we just did. Bleed it out, fill it, and use your normal triple filter premium butane that we talked about. And then you're set. So you can turn your Zippo setup into a torch setup. And I think that's kind of awesome. Okay, we are back downstairs. Hopefully that was helpful for you. As you can see, it was very simple. Not a big deal. It's just a matter of, you don't know what you don't know until someone tells you. So now you're going to be able to bleed out your lighter before you fill it. It's going to make it so that your lighters last for years and years and years, and they're always reliable when you need them. In fact, we even now covered the other topic of potentially putting in a torch insert into your Zippo style lighter. So some of those Zippo lighters that you've had collected over the years that you don't use anymore because you don't want to maintain filling them with the liquid lighter fluid, especially sometimes can impart the taste to your cigars. Now at least there's an option out there to go and turn that into a dual flame torch, and I think that's awesome because it's so simple. Anyway, hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully you guys are still staying safe during this time. I know some of us are still quarantined, or stay-at-home orders, things like that. So again, maybe this is a great time to sit and go through your lighter collection get those things all cleaned up, ready to go, purged, refilled, so that when we're back to our everyday activities, out there being social again, all your lighters are geared up and ready to go. Anyway, stay safe. You'll get through this. We're on the right path. I think things are looking up. Go ahead and leave a comment if you have any comments or questions. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, so that it lets me know that you're watching and enjoying what I'm doing. And I will see you next time. Enjoy.